Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Park Life. It's the penultimate game of the regular league season as City make the trip to Bolton. Coming up on today's show, we get our usual thoughts from Matt Taylor. Pierce Sweeney is our man on the spot, and Jed Penberthy gives us a look back at the history of Bolton Wanderers. But before all that, let's take a look back to Tuesday night as City took on Grimsby here at the Park.
To force that ball over there, it's well away by Hewitt. Atangana. Flick header. Oh, some problems there for McKeown. That's really nicely worked. Seymour's in the middle. It's towards him, but it's an own goal off Waterfall. Actually, the second time he's scored an own goal in 3 games. He'll want to put that behind him. And Exeter as Clifton makes inroads down the right. Still Clifton, and that is surely going to be a penalty. It is! And an emphatic penalty. Matet trying to find some room, and he's fired it through! Jay Matet's good scoring run continues. His 3rd goal in his last 4 games. There's a high boot there from Matet. And the referee here is reaching for the back pocket. It's a red card. Just 3 minutes after scoring, Jay Matet is given his marching orders. Early ball and the flick header. Keogh not taking any chances. Can they clear it? No, they can't! And Fisher scores here to pull Exeter level. McKeown furious and making his feelings known to the referee. Fisher in the right place at the right time to guide that one home. Or it could be curtains. Sweeney, great ball in! That may have been the chance they were waiting for. He reached the end of the 90. Sweeney's crossed plenty of times from this position. He'll try his luck again, and this time it's in! The comeback is complete, and Ryan Bowman nets 2 minutes from time. And a goal which may send Grimsby down to the National League. Sweeney's ball was exemplary, and once again a free header. Bowman with goal number 14 of the season. In on the playoffs, but the full-time whistle means Grimsby Town have been relegated from League 2. After 5 years in the EFL, it is all over.
First up, here is Matt with his thoughts on the game as City make their first trip to Bolton since 1993.
I hope it to be an entertaining game. 2 teams with everything to play for. And 2 teams who play football in the right style and the right manner for our level. What a great environment we're going into in relation to the stadium and the pitch, and against a team who are challenging in automatic positions. So a game we always say to look forward to, a game to relish, a game to attack, and certainly come 5 o'clock, we don't want any regrets in terms of our own performance and the way we've approached the game.
There's a lot riding on this for both sides. Obviously, it keeps up. A win would keep our promotion hopes alive. They need a win for promotion, but I think you said earlier the pressure's all on them.
Oh, to a certain extent. I mean, let's be honest, at the start of the season, you'd look at the big teams and the power teams at our level, and Bolton Wanderers are certainly one of those. Recruited strongly at the start of the season and recruited really strongly in January. And their form has obviously changed since probably Christmas time onwards. So they've seen the benefits of that strong recruitment. But like I say, pressure is an interesting word in football because it can mean so much and so little. The expectation is there for all to see in relation to Bolton's performance and Bolton's ability to get out of this league at the first attempt. But we're still fighting and still challenging towards the top end of the table. And there's expectations there from my point of view in relation to this group of players, and I expect us to perform this weekend.
Defender Pierce Sweeney was this week's man on press duties. Here is what he said ahead of Saturday's game.
Got You got to stand up. You got to perform when it's a high pressure game, and that's exactly what Saturday is. I think they have to win to guarantee automatics, and we have to win to go bring it to the last day, the last game of the season, to hopefully get automatic to get playoffs. So it is a big game, but we've got to go there just kind of treat it as any other game that we need to win. We need to go there with confidence and with a game plan, and just be brave. Be brave. Like, we're going to make mistakes. Players are going to make mistakes, and it's just about reacting. And we just got to go and play a game of football and see where we are come Saturday evening.
Now, our coverage of Saturday's game at Bolton will be slightly different to what you're used to. Due to increased abuse of players on social media, we are joining the EFL in a complete boycott of our social media channels from Friday until Monday, as we call on social media companies to do more to eradicate hate online. As a collective, the game recognises the considerable reach and value of social media to our sport. The connectivity and access to supporters who are at the heart of football remains vital. However, this virulent hate cannot continue. After all, if you wouldn't say it to their face, why would you say it online? For those of you that have been following our games on social media this season, we're still going to do our best to provide something for you on Saturday. We'll be providing live text commentary on our website only. That's in the iFollow tab that you usually log into to watch the game. We'll also be having the reaction from a player and from Matt, as well as the match report. That'll all be on the website as usual. There'll just be nothing on our social media channels. So if you want to know what's happened or you want to follow the game, make sure it's the club website. Exeter City is proud to be part of the Switch Off and hope it will really send home the message that abuse online will not be tolerated. As a supporter-owned and community-driven club, we are inclusive, diverse and welcoming to everybody, regardless of race, religion, gender, sexual identity or disability, and we take zero tolerance on any form of discrimination, whether online or in the stadium. Bolton Wanderers are a club steeped in history, former FA Cup winners, the famous White Horse final. They've played in Europe, beating Atletico Madrid and taking a point from Bayern Munich, but now find themselves in League Two. With the historical rollercoaster that is Bolton Wanderers, here is Jed Penberthy.
The term squeaky bum time is somewhat of a cliche now, but have Exeter City ever been in a position like this? On Saturday they travelled to University of Bolton Stadium to play a team themselves looking for promotion, sitting third in the table. In 1874, local boys from the Sunday School, led by Thomas Ogden, formed Christchurch FC. Within 3 years, Bolton Wanderers broke away and became the modern club that we see today. The large town of Bolton is just outside Greater Manchester and was one of the country's leading cotton traders in the Industrial Revolution. The town now draws most of its heritage from its sport, from its culture, and most importantly, its football club. The ex-Premiership side have been lowly in years, but now they're in League Two, but they're fighting their way back to League One. They've got famous faces from the area, such as Paddy McGuinness and Jenny Ryan from the Chase. So it's safe to say that the promotion chase is on. The 4 times FA Cup champions have won their first title in 1923 in the first final hosted at the Empire Stadium, or Wembley Stadium, between me and you. Nearly 300,000 spectators crammed into Wembley that day in what is regarded as the White Horse Final. One of the so-called sleeping giants of League Two, Bolton had yo-yoed between the First Division and the Second Division for most of the 20th century, but in 2001 they were back to full strength under Sam Allardyce. That season, the future England manager guided Bolton into the Premier League, and by 2005 he guided his hometown club into the UEFA Cup for the first time in their history. But since 2012, a little bit of money problems has seen Bolton slide down the footballing pyramid where we see them today in League Two. And this season, Bolton have had a mesmeric turn of fortune. They were 17th when we played them earlier on the season, but an inspired second half of the campaign has elevated them to third, and they are 1 point away from a return to League One as we head into the game on Saturday. Manager Ian Evatt was poached by Barrett at the start of the season after he guided the Seasiders back into the Football League. The 39-year-old began his playing career at Derby County in 1999. And after spells at QPR and Blackpool amongst others, he moved into coaching in 2018 as Chesterfield caretaker boss. Soon though, he switched to Barrett and made his name in Cumbria by guiding the side back into the Football League for the first time in 50 years. And in November, Ian Evatt reaped his rewards by winning the League Two Manager of the Month. One of the more architecturally brilliant stadiums in the country, the University of Bolton Stadium was opened in 1997 to replace the old Burnden Park. Bolton's record attendance came at Burnden Park when 69,000 people crammed in to watch Manchester City in 1933. But since moving to the Macron, the Reebok, or the University of Bolton Stadium as it is known today, 28,000 is the capacity and 28,000 is the record attendance, which played against Leicester City back in 2003. Many musicians have graced the stage at Horwich since its opening in 1997. Elton John, Rod Stewart and Oasis are amongst those who have mic'd up at the University of Bolton Stadium. And if Bolton miss out on promotion on Saturday, you'd have to give them the advice of stop crying your heart out. Saturday's one to watch is none other than Owen Doyle, who has kept up his fantastic scoring form in League Two since joining Bolton in the summer. He was Ian Evatt's first signing, in fact, and he has scored 18 goals in his return to League Two after guiding Swindon to the title last season. And the 32-year-old has netted 4 goals in 3 games against Exeter City, including both games last season for Swindon, which picked him up the League Two Player of the Year. And finally, winner of 3 FA Cups in his time at Bolton, Topsham-born Dick Pym, who has capped 3 times for England, played over 200 games for Exeter City before moving to Burnden Park in 1921. That then was a club record of £5,000.
The pubs are open, the shops are open, and the country is getting back on its feet. But there's one piece of the jigsaw we have not yet filled, and that is fans back in the stadium. Season tickets to be back here at the park are on sale now. Head over to the website to find out just a little bit more about how you can reclaim your spot here at SJP. It's been a season like no other. But one thing we can all agree on is that football is not a TV show.
Yeah, I miss it a lot. It's something that's been part of my life. You work all week and see it on the weekends.
Not being there with the guys and not being there with friends, and it's a very big family atmosphere at SJP, and that makes up the atmosphere of a match day.
It's a huge part of my life, and I just hope to be back soon.
You do kind of miss the noise more than anything, I think.
It's something you look forward to, and the main thing I miss is meeting up with mates. Just watching the football, the atmosphere. A lot of it really is when it all comes together. There's no place like it really.
It's about Saturdays spent with friends and family. It's the escape from the 9 to 5 and the daily grind of the working week. It's the sounds and smells as you arrive at the ground, that bovril you wouldn't normally drink, the meat pie that turns the bag translucent. It's that click of the turnstiles. It's the same seat or that spot in the bank. It's that person you've sat near for years and still don't know their name. It's the highs, the lows, the wins, the defeats. It's the celebrating of 2-yard tap-ins like they're 30-yard screamers. It's that roar of the 12 man. It's watching ones of our own show us how much it means to them to play in red and white. But most importantly, it's supporting your team, showing that passion and sharing the one Grecian goal. We can't wait for you to return to St James Park. Grecians, it's time to come home. Everyone's favourite club historian Will Barrett is up next. Here he is taking a look at our not-so-recent history with Bolton Wanderers.
This weekend, City travelled to Bolton for only the 6th time in our history and for the first time since 1993. Back then, a City side containing players such as Kevin Miller, Danny Bailey, Alan Tong and Eamon Dolan lost 4-1 to a Bolton side that went on to achieve promotion with a second-place finish in what was then the Barclays League Division 2. In all, our away record at Bolton reads: played 6, won 1, drawn none, and lost 5, which isn't exactly what any of us want to hear ahead of this weekend's match. So let's focus on our solitary win against the Trotters on the road instead. That came on the 22nd of February 1992, when Alan Ball City picked up a 2-1 win in front of just over 5,500 fans at the old Burnden Park. Tom Kelly of 1990 promotion penalty fame put City 1 up in just the 4th minute, and whilst former Celtic striker Andy Walker equalised to send the sides level at half-time, Paul Wimbledon popped up in the 76th minute to send the travelling Grecians home with all 3 points. In all, there isn't much more to write home about on our previous trips to this part of Greater Manchester, but a repeat of that 1992 victory and a first ever win at the University of Bolton Stadium would certainly be the ideal new entry into the record books this Saturday.
We head back to January now, when we took on Bolton here in the league game. It's time to check out the highlights from that one, including Matt Jay's bit of trickery that led to our goal. You may remember a few weeks ago, we spoke to Zara Connolly from the Salford City media team for Park Life. Well, we've been in touch with Bolton to get a chat about this weekend's game. Here is their media manager, Luke Gallagher. We chat about the game and the social media boycott as well.
Luke, thanks so much for coming on Park Life. Obviously, Bolton versus Exeter City on Saturday, and it's a big game for both sides, really. How are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. It's obviously got the potential to be a massive day for the football club. Last couple of years have been difficult. Turned a corner this year, sort of since January. The form's been great, and yeah, it's really, really excited for it.
You mentioned there about the opportunity of being promoted. How are you managing that one with the social media boycott? I guess it's come at a bad time, because if that did happen, while obviously everyone at Exeter City, we hope we get the 3 points. If you do win, how are you managing that? Because there's so much content you'll be missing out on.
Yeah, it's tough because it's a real opportunity for us. I think we've kind of got to gather as much as we can and kind of put it out Tuesday, really, which is disappointing in many ways, but it's just part and parcel of what's going on, really, and we've got to adhere to it.
What are you expecting from the game? Obviously, we know that we need a win to keep up our playoff hopes, and everything that's riding on it from you. It could be an interesting, entertaining one.
Yeah, I think Exeter are a good side. We saw that in January in the game down there. I was really impressed with the two boys up top, Ryan Bowman, who's a real handful, and Matt Jay. It's a tough game. I think a lot of fans are sort of anticipating a win because of the form we've been on, but it's not as simple as that. I think we couldn't have asked for much more of a difficult game, really. Exeter still got a lot to play for, a good side, a promising young manager with a good squad, and importantly at this time of the season, something still to play for, which makes it a bit more difficult, and Exeter will need the points just as much as Bolton will.
I think we've seen really since January that Bolton have turned the corner. I think all the other 23 teams in the league have thought, wow, where's this come from? What's been, not the secret as such, but what's been the reason for that massive upturn in form?
I think the January recruitment, to be honest, the squad, there was a lot of elements that were there. Obviously, we signed Owen Doyle, Anthony Sarcevic, Ricardo Santos in the summer, but I just think there were a few ingredients missing. And January allowed Ian to sort of get hold of the recruitment and get the players in that he needed, the likes of MJ Williams, Kieran Lee, Dapo Afolayan, players like that, really, that just sort of added to, it was sort of 60-70% there, the squad, and I think it just needed that missing piece of the jigsaw to put together, and we've kind of gone from there, really, and it's been a remarkable turnaround because January, when the recruitment was sort of underway, we were miles off. We were like 19th in the league, sort of 3 or 4, 5 points above the relegation zone, which is obviously nowhere near what is expected for this football club at this level. So, thankfully it's been a great turnaround, and the team, it's a really good group of lads, which I think is an important thing.
I was having a look earlier at some of your recent form, and there was quite a few 1-0 wins in there. It seems to be something you're quite good at, is nicking the one goal and holding on to it.
Yeah, I think that's the foundation of the team, sort of the back four. I mean, you've probably seen Ricardo Santos has been, he's got in the FIFA 21 team of the year for the EFL. He's sort of come out of nowhere, really. When we signed him, none of the fans, I think hardly any of the fans would have heard of him, really, and knew much about him. But he's been a breath of fresh air, really. He's got all the physical attributes to sort of play higher up. He's quick, he's strong, he's good in the air, he's a leader. He's still only, I think, 25, so he's got a great career ahead of him. But then at the same time, he'll admit himself that it's helped massively having Alex Baptiste alongside him, who's obviously 35, back into his career, but he's played with Ian Ever. He's experienced. He reads the game really well, and the fullbacks have been great as well. Getting Declan John in January, who's probably one that people have heard of because he's obviously played for Wales and Swansea and Cardiff. But a great player who's probably, it's a cliche, but he's probably above the level. And he's probably only found himself at the level he's at because, injury situations and being out of the first team picture at Swansea, it's kind of allowed a club like Bolton to sort of get hold of a player like that. And, it's just been brilliant. The back four, like I say, there have been, a massive foundation for the success and the reason why we're getting 1-0 wins.
And you mentioned Santos there in the EFL team of the year. We've got Matt Jay, who's in that team alongside him. Could be an interesting matchup. Yeah,
it could be. I'm interested in. I think for Ricardo, obviously, it's how he deals with sort of the pace and the running power of Matt Jay. But when we were down at Exeter in January, I noticed Ryan Bowman was sort of 9 times out of 10, Ricardo's dealt with the players of the sort of physical stature of Ryan Bowman and the sort of aerial ability and physical ability. But I saw something a bit extra from Ryan Bowman. He's sort of a difficult player to handle, and he gets on the end of balls into the box. He holds the ball up well, which probably suits Matt Jay, really, holding the ball up and allowing him to sort of arrive late. It'd be a good battle. I think it'll be a good test for Alex Baptiste and Ricardo Santos coming up against those two. I feel like if they can manage to nullify Jay and Bowman, then I think the foundations are there for Bolton to go and win the game. But it's if, and like I said, Exeter have got 2 players that have scored sort of pushing towards 20 goals, 18, 19 goals, and it'll be a good test for the pair of them, really.
Yeah, Ryan Bowman scored an excellent header on Tuesday night. Now, bearing in mind there's going to be Exeter fans watching this, I do have to ask you, final question is an honest but score prediction. But, there's plenty of Exeter fans watching this, but I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I've got to go with Bolton win. But, sometimes Bolton fans, one or two might get carried away and think that it's just going to be a 3-0 party time sort of game. I don't see it being like that. I see it being quite a tight game, but I think Exeter will score, which is, a strong claim from me because there's been loads of clean sheets recently. I think I'll go 2-1 Bolton. All
right. Well, hopefully you're wrong, but let's wait and see Saturday. Luke, thanks so much for coming on, and I'll catch you up at Bolton on Saturday.
Yeah, see you there, Craig. Good man.
Okay, thanks a lot.
It's time to see how Bolton got on last time out now. They took on Morecambe in a huge top-of-the-table clash, and here is how it went.
Follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul. You make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks. You're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There is no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, there's no better way to show your love. You can't be there with iFollow.
That is all we've got time for on Park Life this week. Remember, you can watch the game with an iFollow pass for just £10. Remember, because of the social media boycott, everything we do will be on the club website after and during the game with live text on there for you to have a read through as well. Pick up your match pass, stay safe, enjoy the game from home, and back the boys. Come on, City.